Hey guys, Aquatic Bob's here. Another episode. So tonight I wanted to do another video for you guys. I did one last night and everything was so blue. I wanted to give you guys a little bit more visual what it is with a little bit more white in. Now my lights are starting to dim. It is a little later in the afternoon, but there's still quite a while left where some white will be on. And so this is more so what it looks like throughout the day. Now with these filters, it still isn't exactly the way it is. Like in the video, I think it looks maybe a little bit more purple, like the rocks a little bit more purple. In real life, it looks a little bit more blue, but the coral colors are pretty similar. It really is a beautiful tank, beautiful coral, beautiful colors. Very thankful, very, very happy, very blessed. It still blows my mind that these are actual animals, living animals, and we can keep them to this capacity and actually enhance their life and their color versus living in the ocean. And so I know in the ocean they have a constant supply of food. Even though nitrates are less than 1 part per million and phosphates are near undetectable, they have a constant supply of food. So that one nitrate in the ocean is constantly being replenished. It never runs out. Like our tanks will actually deplete nutrients. And when that happens, the coral tissue actually begins to starve, and the zooxanthella starves, and so that's why we try to keep our systems with some nutrients in it, is we don't want the corals to starve. I actually learned from the guys at Bulk Reef Supply that everything, all living things, take up some kind of nitrogen, some kind of nitrate source. So that was kind of cool. I know in the past we all thought, and I've only been in the hobby several years now, I think like 4 years, but in the past we all thought, oh, nitrates, phosphates, bad, don't want to have them in my tank. But man, I've never been so happy to add something to my tank as nitrates these last 5 days, and it's made a world of a difference. So if that's something that you're struggling with to understand that, check out some of the Bulk Reef Supply videos. There's a lot of videos out there. I tried to do one. I'm not as knowledgeable as some of them guys, but man, nitrates really do make a big difference. My goal is to try to hit 5 parts per million nitrates and 0.03 phosphates. I'm at 0.02 phosphates right now, and since I started dosing nitrates, I haven't tested, but I can tell that it's doing something. But when I sent in a water sample, it was literally undetectable. There was nothing, and my corals were paling out. Now, some of the pale corals I actually was mistaking for browning corals, but it wasn't. They were just pale and losing color. And so when some of you guys actually helped me with that and helped me to understand, it made a lot of sense. My Cato was dying down in the sump, and some of my corals weren't even opening up. Look at this guy, he's pooping right now. This guy was one of the ones who wasn't opening up, and it's funny he's not open right now, but all day today he was big and puffy, just like his neighbors here. But so I got those nutrients back up after seeing some of these signs, and it's already making a difference. Sour apple frog spawn, cotton candy torch. Is that the dragon soul torch? Or dragon fire, something like that. New York Nix torch. Gosh, this thing is expensive. It's pretty cool, but it's an expensive coral. The OG bounce mushroom. There we go. Now you can see some of that contrast. I love the light blue at the base of it. Just beautiful. So I wanted to just do a quick little mashup here of some of my equipment. And I will do some more videos in the future with more depth on the equipment. I don't know if you can hear my son laughing in the background. He's 2 years old. Here's Honey. Honey is lounging. Hi, Honey. She likes the fish. She sleeps out here with them, just across the living room. Some of her best friends, I'd say. This trachea is really, just when I think it can't get any more bright and colorful, it just wrecks everything I thought. So this guy is going to be a good example. Keep an eye on this video and don't confuse it with the Shades of Fall behind it. But this guy I bought from Reefs for less, took a chance, and in the picture it had some really nice colors. When it showed up, not so much. But since starting to dose nitrates, I'm actually seeing some color come out in it a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on that guy. We'll keep monitoring him, and along with a bunch of other of these coral. But so, all right. I know I get so excited looking at coral, I lose my focus and my train of thought. But yeah, we're gonna go over some equipment here. All right, so we'll start from the top down. So I just have a 2-foot. They shut off. They run for 7 hours a day. 2 Blue Plus bulbs, T5s. And now here's where it gets a little crazy. Is on the left side here. And the right side of the tank, I have 2 of the AI Hydra 32s. The new. Yeah, so we got the 2 AI Hydra 32s on the outsides, T5s in the back. In the center, the Radion XR15 Gen 4 Pro. And then up front, angled down and in, is the Reef Bright Actinic Blue LED strip. And so I have all this lighting all over the place so that it'll create more of a blanket of light around the tank and around the corals. And for example, is you see the Walt Disney here, and the Walt Disney doesn't have many shaded spots. I mean, way underneath the branches and down at the base there a little bit, but most of this coral is getting light, direct light. And even further down in the tank, you know, when you get corals that start branching out like this, down at the base there's a little bit of shade, but even there it's still getting a little bit of light. And so that helps the coral to stay alive and that section not to die and be unhealthy and unbalanced. And as these acros grow out, it's going to make more shade for the bottom of the tank, which will be perfect, because even on my sand bed, my PAR is still about 125. But so that's my lighting. Now let's get into the wave makers. So I have the Jabo DCP90 or SCP90, the sign on the right side. On the left side, it's the SCP70. And those are both blasting straight into the middle of the tank on each other. And then I have more Jabos on the back. Got a wider spread one, and then 2 more narrow beams on the left side. So I get quite a bit of flow in this tank. I actually have the center one unplugged right now because I think it was hitting some of those corals a little bit too hard. That's the Top Shelf Aquatics Bioshock. Actually, it looks pretty darn nice right now. That was another one that was just really fading out. This was a mystery acro from the Reef Collective in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I do live in Duluth, Minnesota. It's about 2 hours and 20 minutes from here, but the guy sold it to me for 20 bucks. It's looking more and more like an orange passion. That was a kind of a cool deal. But yeah, and then, so I do have my dosing container up here, another Jabo product, and just hanging over the edge of the tank, connected up here, and I dose, what do I dose again? Oh yeah, Reef Code A and Reef Code B, Brightwell Aquatics. Sorry if that's kind of dark. And so I dose those in equal parts. I've also started dosing an iodine from Brightwell as well. Brightwell as well. But yeah, so that's my tank, 120 gallons, 4 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet. And then down here, this is where the crazy stuff is. Let's see what this looks like. And so I have the protein skimmer, the Aquamex Cone S, and just one filter sock going down with a bunch of bio bags down there. And here's my refugium with the Cato that almost completely died. And now that we're getting some nitrates into the system, it's doing much better. Here's my auto top-off reservoir. And the sensor is back up there. Here's my jungle of quartz. I have the BRS dual reactor running carbon and GFO back there. And I'm gonna have to delete some stuff on my camera because there's the GFO and there's the carbon. I'm almost out of space, but yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I really appreciate you guys watching again, as always. If you like the video, please subscribe. Please subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Really would like to grow the channel. I know the light's got a lot more blue here too, but yeah, thank you guys, and God bless. We'll see you in the next video.